Hello. I was a federal worker.
I was one of the thousands of federal workers terminated this weekend. Let's talk about it.
Literally every single day, it's something. Every single day, I am waking up and dreading going to work because I don't know if I'm going to have a job or not.
And I wanted to come on here as one of the thousands of federal employees who lost their job with the federal government this weekend. I was removed from my position through an email from an unrecognized HR account from my agency around 1 p.m. on Saturday. I have gone through the entire range of emotions this past weekend. There is a lot of sadness in my heart. There is also a lot of anger.
I served 14 years in the Air Force. I was a federal employee for over 6 years. That's over 20 years of my life working for the federal government. And I was recently fired by Donald Trump because I was on supervisor probation. So I was already tenured.
I'm utterly devastated. I'm confused because my recent performance evaluation was exceptional and I got upwards of $1,500 as a bonus because my performance was so good. And this was my dream job. And it's just being taken away by an administration who doesn't care about science. It doesn't care about people who might be homeless with their dog now.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. In case you're seeing me for the very first time, consider subscribing on the channel. I came across a bunch of videos from the federal workers crying out how they are being laid over from their jobs. So apparently they are jobless. Some of them are crying out. Maybe they are seeking for some type of advice, or they are just seeking for anybody to talk to, for them to feel comforted. This is not a moment to really laugh at, because nobody on this planet would literally feel good if they are being laid over from their works, from their jobs, and most especially when they didn't expect it. Imagine waking up in the morning and probably you had a very good day yesterday at work. Out of the blue, somebody sends you a message telling you you shouldn't come back for work. It is so painful. So this is a moment for us really not to laugh at, but instead, if you have anybody who is close to you or even a family member who is being laid off as a federal worker, I think you should give them a hug or even sit down with them and talk to them. Because apparently I was also watching videos of people saying, oh, why is it that most of you come on the internet crying and you don't want to be judged? This is something that you literally have no control over. But I feel like sometimes people maybe should have plan B. In case of anything like that happens to you, you always at least knowing that even if this happens, I can always get another job. Side hustles, making small businesses, being entrepreneurs, literally. So I don't know what you guys think about this situation. Let me know what you do think about it down in the commentary. Consider subscribing on the channel if you're seeing me for the very first time.
Hi everyone. Please pardon my appearance as it is after 4 a.m. on Tuesday, February 18th. And I wanted to come on here as one of the thousands of federal employees who lost their job with the federal government this weekend. More specifically, I was removed from my position through an email from an unrecognized HR account from my agency around 1 p.m. on Saturday of this holiday weekend. No one within my chain of supervision was involved in this decision. I have gone through the entire range of emotions this past weekend. There is a lot of sadness in my heart. There is also a lot of anger. The firing of thousands of federal employees across the government is going to have detrimental impacts on regular people like yourself watching this video. My position with my healthcare agency was involved in Affordable Care Act, health insurance marketplace policy and operations. And so I was one of the people regulating health insurers to make sure that they were not selling you junk insurance, making sure that they were covering all the benefits that they had to cover, charging you a fair amount of cost sharing, making sure that they weren't discriminating against you based on your health conditions or health status. And with fewer people like myself in the government, you can imagine the impact that that will have on the regulation of massive corporations. And I think that's part of the point of all of this. I have gone back and forth all weekend with what comes next for me. I was a dentist before moving to DC. I graduated from dental school and put my clinical career on pause in order to move here and try to make a difference. I wanted to make dental care more accessible and affordable for people, and I felt like I finally had that opportunity in this job that I was just let go of. One of the hardest parts of all of this is that I don't know if I've really made a difference. I'm really at a loss for direction right now in what I'm doing with my life, and I'm really not sure what comes next for me, but whatever it is, hoping to make the best of it, as we always do, and really appreciate all the love and support of people out there who recognize just how cruel this is. I'm sending love to all of my federal workers out there who are either hanging on to their jobs still or were just let go this weekend. I know the pain that you're feeling, and you know, the entire network has been so supportive, and I want to offer that same support to all of you. If there's any lessons to be drawn from this, it is that we do not need the richest people in the world controlling our government. Our government is supposed to be for the people, and the only purpose of all of this is not to decrease the federal deficit or decrease spending like they're claiming. We make up such a small portion of federal government spending. It's really to decrease regulation and allow businesses to go unregulated and take control of the economy. So I think we're in a really dark time, and it's going to take a lot of work for all of us to rebuild from this, but I am committed to doing that work in whatever role comes next, and I hope you all understand the gravity of this moment and do your own part to chip in. So I don't know what else to say, but for now, just wanted to share my story and send my love to anyone else going through this.
I was one of the thousands of federal workers terminated this weekend. Let's talk about it. Am I surprised? No. I was working for a federal health agency, so once RFK Jr. was confirmed last week, and they started almost immediately with the CDC and firing off 1,300 probationary workers on Friday, I knew that my time was coming very shortly after, and I got my email on Saturday. It was from an email I've never seen before. It was something like important HR notification at agency.gov, an email I've never seen before. It didn't come from one of my managers or direct supervisors. I haven't heard from anybody superior to me. I just got that email letting me know I was terminated for performance. The email said something along the lines of the agency does not see my current skills and abilities as fit for continued employment, and therefore they are terminating my employment. And this is the same email that thousands and thousands and thousands of people got. It doesn't actually reflect my abilities or anybody's abilities who was laid off via this email. They're using the same cookie cutter template because when you're on the probationary period, which I am, as well as the thousands of other people currently being laid off, you can only let us go if it is a performance issue or a budget issue or something along those lines. And I guess the only reason that they could find that they could issue in a mass manner was performance issues. And you know, the thing is, it's almost comical when you reference performance issues when laying off probationary employees, because many of these probationary employees at these federal health agencies were presidential management fellows, were pathways program employees, other really competitive programs that you enter to start federal service. These are the people you're letting go. So it was literally the top talent that they were recruiting to bring in to fill in these gaps and where they need people to serve. And they're letting those people go because of performance issues. And it's also not just these brand new hires. When you are put on the probationary period, that could be an employee who's been with some agency for 10-20 years, but they just recently switched into a supervisor position, and so they were filling a gap in which they needed a supervisor in a critical role. They were serving for such a long period of time, serving successfully, that they were put into this role, and now in this new role they were put on a probationary period, and now they're being let go. And again, with these particular programs that were meant to bring in top talent, these are either 1 year or 2 year programs. I believe 2 is the longest. So some of these people have been in their probationary period for a year and 10 months, and now they're being let go because technically they're still in this probationary period. And again, these are some of the top talents in this country who were brought in for these roles, who have been receiving exceptional performance reviews over the last year. Someone like me who hasn't even gotten a performance review yet because I've been in this role for such a short period of time, and now I'm being let go for performance issues, but I haven't even performed long enough to have a review. I was hired under the Pathways Recent Graduate Program, and prior to graduating from my Master's of Public Health, I was in the Pathways internship program this summer. So this summer, I was at a different federal agency, graduated my Master's of Public Health in August, and got hired for this new role at a health agency at the end of 2024. So I have quite literally been in my role for like 6 weeks, and they want to justify terminating me and hundreds of other people that were hired with me at the exact same time as performance issues. Personally, why I wanted this role when I was hired a couple of months ago was because of the job stability historically that comes with working in the federal government. My father's worked in federal government for my whole life. I was born and raised in Northern Virginia, raised in that area. Someone you know, somebody in your family, one of your friends, everybody works for the government, like everybody does. So this is really impacting Northern Virginia, Maryland, DC to a real extent. And though many of these federal jobs are housed in the DMV, that is not the case all over the country. There are regional offices for some of these agencies all over the country. People have been working remotely for the past who knows how many years all over the country in these roles. So this is really impacting a lot of people. What am I going to do about it, you might ask? I'm not entirely 100% sure yet. There's lots of lawsuits going around. Federal unions are collecting information from employees in order to create class action lawsuits. There's particular firms that are looking to talk with federal employees interested in class action lawsuits. I'm not sure which route I'm going to go yet. One thing I do know is that the perceived power of people handling situations like this, unelected officials coming into power, is often greater than the actual power which they hold. So doing nothing, conceding, letting them get away with it is only going to contribute to this perceived power and therefore become actual power. So all I know is that I will not be backing down. I have an extremely strong support system around me. I am a smart, well-connected young lady. So even if I do find a new role shortly after this, speaking up for the people being impacted and what's going on in this country, something I will not stop doing. Look at my lip liner. If you or somebody you know was impacted by this or impacted by anything going on, I'm extremely sorry. We will all get through this time. Stay connected, stay together. Community is everything in times like this. Stay informed, stay up to date. Follow for more.
I'm sitting here. I don't want to cry, but I feel like the tears are going to start rolling. But I just got an email from a manager telling me to come into the office tomorrow and bring all my government issue equipment. So I'm thinking that they laid me off. I've been working with the IRS for a couple months now, and I just don't understand how this is legal. I have a daughter, I have responsibilities, I have bills, and he just comes and lays people off. How does he sleep at night knowing that he's taking income away from so many families?
Y'all, working for the federal government these days is basically like the Hunger Games. You're just waiting to get chose to get you up out of here. Because I was laid off from my federal position, and I mean, I don't work there anymore, so I'll just say what agency it was. I was laid off from the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and then but I already knew that the layoffs were coming. After the election results and Donald Trump won that election, I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. I'm going to start looking for other jobs because I already knew that was coming. So I was laid off. A week later, I started a different position as a legal analyst in a different government job, and now that position has been rescinded as well. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm done with the federal government until we get a change of administration, because this is crazy. So I'm going back to being a private sector mommy because A, y'all not about to keep wasting my time, and B, I'm never going to go to the office in Washington, D.C.